Oh, look!
Listen.
Hey, it's Look Listen with Geese and Guyera. It's episode 27 or something, and it's the Arbor Day special. It's the one you've been looking forward to, clambos.
It's
That's
a big
Geese.
one.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Geese.
I'm Guyera. It's a podcast, and it's about Pokemon and other things too. And I swear to goodness, we're going to talk about the Scarlet and Violet anime as soon as it comes out, because they keep teasing it. We're getting these little shorts of the starters, and every single day, Geese, there's new news about, we're going to be talking real soon about Ash's next adventures. So we're good. We're golden. We don't have to keep scraping for episodes.
It's gonna come out right when we go to Japan.
Oh, probably.
Also, are we gonna talk about that?
No. Geese and I are not fluent in Japanese. So actually, when we got to wait for hard at work translators to do their job. What's not
Or we could become fluent in Japanese very quickly.
That's very, very quick. I mean, it's a kid's show, so there's some pretty simple Japanese in it. And I do, since I watch these shows in Japanese, it's always fun just listening and going, oh, I know exactly what he's saying. Thank you, everyone. Arigato, Mina. Or Mina-san for more.
So bad at Japanese, specifically speaking it. I'm bad at languages in general.
Luckily, you crying, Geese? Don't cry.
No, I thought I was gonna cough. I'm sorry. Also, I got COVID, and I told Guyera that I got COVID, and he messaged me back. Did you get it from me?
No, I didn't say that. I said, you are like my family or something. You take stories and you twist them and turn them to make it sound worse. I did not say that. I said for half of one fraction of 1 second, I almost typed that. But no, I know you can't get it over the microphone and the speaker and the earbud. But yes, everybody, it's the Look Listen tradition. Everybody gets COVID. Everybody recovers. It's all great.
It's sad, though, because I was going to go to San Francisco and I had to cancel my trip.
For some rice-a-roni?
No, to see my friend. Ooh. And some rice-a-roni.
Nice. But yeah, Clambo, so we're going to keep hitting up these holidays until Scarlet Violet anime comes out. Then it's going to air in Japan. Somebody's going to be real nice and add subtitles. We're going to watch those. And then that will be what we're going to do in the future. Thank you for listening. Oh, right off the top, I wanted to ask you listeners, what do you listen on? Because it seems like there's more on YouTube than the podcast services. If you're watching on YouTube, you can also listen on podcast services. Just so you know, Apple, Spotify, all of them, Pocket Casts, every last one of them.
Shout out to all of you that find us by searching tickling on YouTube, by the way.
Oh, big shouts out. Yep. I was looking at the analytics and somebody typed in tickling and decided, ooh, I'll check this out because of Aaron's name in the description. That's some
Tickle
good
is back,
stuff.
By the way.
That's so funny. Who? Oh my God. I don't even want to ask the question. I'm not going to ask it, but I'm going to say the question I don't want to ask. Here's the question that I'm not asking. What kind of person is typing in tickling and what are they looking for? I'm not asking. I'm just thinking.
I have many answers. I won't say them.
Geese, let's jump into watching, playing, looking, listening. Geese, do you have any attachment to the song Cozy in the Rocket, which is the theme song to Grey's Anatomy?
No, the only familiarity I have with it is that my freshman year roommate would watch endless hours of Grey's Anatomy, but never wore headphones.
And so you know the whole show backwards and forwards.
Basically, I watched in quotes
through
Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, exactly.
I've never watched any of Grey's Anatomy, but that song, and I'm sure the reason this is the case is because it's tied up in my mind with that period of time and who recommended that song to me. But that song makes me so emotional, and it's such an odd feeling because when I listen to that song, Cozy in the Rocket, I'll have to just link that song to this. But if you haven't heard it, and again, let me stress, I've never watched Grey's Anatomy, not even a second. I was on Netflix or something to just hear the intro music. But this music pours through my body, and I think, how is it possible that music this good can exist? But I'm back and forth with music in terms of what I feel like is the best music ever written or whatever. I often think back to when was it, Geese? The early 70s, when you had all these people claiming that people like Led Zeppelin were satanic or they were magical, casting demon devil spells because there's no way their music could be that good. And they were saying if you play
I
the
wasn't.
records backwards. Geese, if you're about to
Yeah.
say you weren't alive, neither were any of us. Why do you
The
pull
way
that
you
when we're talking
framed
about
that,
the 60s?
the way you framed that was like back in the 60s when we like the way you framed that implied that you had lived through that.
No, Geese. Goodness golly gee.
You know what I found today?
What?
I like listening to video game soundtracks while I do work. They're inherently made to help a person like focus and be excited about a task. I found a soundtrack that someone uploaded on YouTube, a compilation of like songs.
Compilation.
Hold on. Why can't Okay, there it is. It's called PlayStation Jungle Mix. And it's
got some Tomb Raider in there, I bet.
It's a selection from the PlayStation Jungle Mix, a jungle retrospective as heard across the PlayStation game catalog, 1994 to 2004.
I used to every single shower listen to mixes like that, but they were mostly relaxing Super Nintendo music, town themes from Super Nintendo RPGs. There's a lot of compilations out there. What is he? Geese is rocking to something. Now, what is it? A jungle?
It's
music?
Good, yeah.
They are good. I can't deny that. The greatest soundtrack of all time was for a video game that never even came out in the United States, just Europe. It was a Super Nintendo game based on Waterworld, and the composer for that game is out of control talented. If I ever had money, Geese, I would 100% hire that guy to just make music for me because he's so good. He's so incredible.
Do you like the music Toby Fox worked on for Scarlet and Violet?
Yeah, his music's good. Okay, Geese. For my video games of the week, of course, it's still just Pokemon, obviously. But in the mail right now, I'm looking at the app. I'm going to get my analog pocket in either this evening or tomorrow. And I'm super excited so I can play Game Boy games at unbelievable visuals. And I'm going to be so excited. And I played just a couple rounds of Fortnite. And Geese, why on earth last night when we were playing Fortnite and I asked you, hey, Geese, does this little pile of leaves, does it work like a bush? And you said no. And then I go inside and it works like a bush and I get health. And I say, oh, hey, Geese, guess what? It does work like a bush. How come you were so dismissive of me? And then you told me, why aren't you shooting the guys? Even though I was shooting the guys.
I don't remember the prior thing happening.
Yeah, I said, oh, Geese, it works like a bush. And you said, great. You were so dismissive. So mean to me.
I'm
Hurt
sorry
my little
if it
feelings.
came out that way. I was probably just busy doing something in the game. In terms of the latter accusation, when I said that, you were not shooting people.
Sick. Fortnite.
So I think it's a timing
moments.
Issue.
Evidently.
Can we talk about Fortnite?
Yeah, it's your game segment of the week.
So the new, I guess, chapter came out, and it's like a new map, and I don't know, like, the game looks really good. It has really updated lighting and graphical effects and settings, but the map itself kind of feels a bit devoid of character in comparison to the previous map.
I thought you liked the character. That one area with the slip juice or whatever?
The one area I like, because it has like environmental storytelling a bit to it. It has some art, objects, and like, funny places. But the rest of the area, average medieval castle-y type places. And it's hard to kind of have a sense of place or like, oh, I know where I am, when like everything feels a bit devoid of character. They could have, for like one of the castles, had a castle like the Knights of the Food Court. They could even incorporate with the bundle of skins they have called that very thing, where it's a bunch of the burger guy, the taco guy as knights. But they didn't do that. No environmental storytelling. No characterization.
Well, the chapter has just started, so there's a chance that more and more could be added to make it a better experience. Oh my god! That's my go catch Pokemon alarm. I've ignored it for the past few weeks, though. Every Tuesday at 6 p.m., it's Spotlight Hour in Pokemon Go. And you can get extra experience points for evolving or catching Pokemon or what have you. There's a bunch of Pokemon that spawn at that time. Good time to catch a shiny. Anyway, Fortnite. Also, one thing I was kind of thinking is that maybe you'll grow to appreciate the map because we jumped in, or you jumped in to chapter 3 not at the beginning of it, right? It was just after Goku and No Build. So maybe right now it's just also brand new and eventually you'll grow to enjoy it. Could be.
I hope.
I haven't explored enough of it yet. Have you explored every named area? Maybe
No,
maybe
I've
all
been
the
too
ones you
busy.
haven't been to are super sick. That's probably it.
Mm.
Geese, do you want to talk about your eat?
Can I also talk about Vampire Survivors?
No.
So this Saturday, I finally downloaded it and started playing it, which was a mistake because I should not have downloaded it before I was finished grading.
All I'm saying is Vampire Survivors is a one-handed game, so you can grade with one hand, Vampire Survivors with the other. Easily.
The game is good, and I can see why it's addicting. Luckily, I had a good friend, Keith Squared, help me, guide me through the first couple of games. I still don't know all of the level
Combinations.
up pairs. Yeah.
I just Google it every
So
time.
yeah. But yeah, I liked it. I'll probably limit myself to one game per day just because it is so addicting.
If you get a bad run, you're allowed a redo.
That's a slippery slope.
I mean, if you get a bad run, you're allowed one redo.
I can't tell myself that because then I'll just have a lot of bad runs and just end up playing.
I can't wait to take that clip out. I'll have a lot of bad runs.
But yeah, I like the character I'm playing so far. Noki or something. He's a devil with a cross.
You unlocked the devil already?
Yeah.
The game's probably way different from when I played it then because you didn't unlock the devil for a while. I thought when I was playing, I think. There's been so many additions. This guy was crazy with the amount of features he would just add on what seemed like a daily basis, especially because the game was like $2. Craziness. I stopped playing it because I don't enjoy playing games on a PC, but it's probably going to be ported to PlayStation sooner rather than later, and then I'll play it some more.
You can play it on your phone.
I'd prefer getting trophies anyway. I can wait. All right, Geese, let me tell you about what I ate. So last night, because I'm so excited about Japan, I went to Little Tokyo and I ate a big giant beef bowl at Daikokuya. And okay, there's this little treat I love so much. Tamago pan, so literally egg bread. They're these little guys, and it's the tastiest snack treat I've ever had in my life. And sometimes I'll go to the supermarket in Little Tokyo, and they don't have any at all. So this time I really stocked up because I'm going to visit my family sometime soon, and I want them to be able to try it too. These little guys are so addictive, whatever you want to call it, and they taste so good with coffee. Oh, the combination of the coffee and the tamago pan in your mouth, so good. All the little snacks I got, they taste the best when you just leave them sitting in your mouth for a little bit. Really let your tongue and the roof of your mouth taste it before you start chewing it. Super, super tasty. I also bought a bunch of little instant noodles that taste better because basically you're always going to get better tasting noodles if it's just covered in, it doesn't really matter, the Korean, Japanese, what have you. As long as there are Asian characters all over the packaging, it's going to taste better. And Geese, at first I was very concerned because they did not have the Boss coffee that I liked. At the main supermarket, they only had Silky Boss, which tastes gross to me. It's got all this emulsifier in it. But then I went to the secondary, tinier Asian supermarket in Little Tokyo. I guess I should say Japanese supermarket. And they had my favorites, the little cans and the Craft Boss black coffee. Super, super tasty. So I had a wonderful experience. Geese, would you like to discuss your food this week?
Somehow my family is still eating Thanksgiving leftovers.
How is that even still
good? I mean, honestly, at this point, it's just we have a bucket full of gravy. So just everything has gravy with it. A lot of mac and cheese as well lately from various things that my mom's went to and brings back.
Everywhere she goes, she gets more mac and cheese.
I guess so.
Potlucks, dinner parties, social events.
a lot of meetings. She just comes back with mac and cheese.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
I wish I got free mac and cheese everywhere I went.
My Tumbo sure isn't happy about it, though. I'll tell you that.
Geese, what? Your Tumbo doesn't like mac cheese? Geese is shaking her head no to all the clambos who don't know that. That's what's happening.
I'm so congested.
No.
We got a real Christmas tree like we do every year, and I think I'm allergic to pine.
Oh, no. Apparently people who go to Japan, they're fine for the first 5 years or so, and then they all immediately get wildly allergic to everything in Japan. The, what is it, cedar or pollen, something? Whatever the trees are there. Everybody gets hay fever after 5 years. It's very interesting. All right, Clambos, moving right on along. Let's quickly go over some Poké News of the week. Not too much this week. So, with these episodes going a little out of order, this is going to sound confusing, but we had those big 7-star Charizard raids in Scarlet and Violet, and I did so many of those raids. I got my little Dachshund to level 100, EV trained, got him hyper trained, and he was shiny because I caught him as a little guy, a little Fido. And I was good at helping everyone beat those Charizards. So the first round of that is over, the 7-star raids. It's coming back later this month. Still can't catch it again. You can only catch one per save file. But there's some new raids announced. We got Tyranitar and Salamence raids. Those aren't going to be as difficult as the Charizard. And those are from December 9th through the 11th. So, of course, after this is uploaded, so not very useful Poké News of the week. Sorry, everyone. And then Pokemon Go, we got Keldeo coming out with the big Mythic Blade event. Very sick, very fun. Geese, who is the reporter for this week that we're going to send off to? It's always your decision.
Chris Pratt's Mario.
Don't give me those eyebrows. Okay. She's still smiling. She has such a devious smile and for too long.
I'm excited.
Okay. All right.
After you do the weather, I'm going to get a glass and I'm going to take some decongested.
All right. Let's send... okay, it's... it's Geese and Guyera at the news desk, as per usual, and we're gonna send it off to New York. That's right, the Big Apple, and we've got Chris Pratt as Mario in the Big Apple. How appropriate! Take it away. What should I call him, Mario or Chris Pratt? Geese is thinking.
Chris Mario. All
right, take it away, Chris Mario. It's me, Chris Mario, in New York. It's 56 degrees Fahrenheit. Mamma mia. The precipitation is 76%. Mushroom Kingdom, here we go. The humidity is 91%. The wind is 6 miles per hour. And
you sound like a baby all of a sudden.
There's light rain showers. Back to you. All right. Thank you very much, Christopher Mario. Geese, what? Do you need? You said you need something? Water or decongestant?
Yeah, I'm just gonna get some medicine.
Get some decongestant. Well, Geese, why don't we?
Back.
Geese, this is a perfect opportunity.
Take a break?
Exactly. Tell the Clambos.
Clambos, please enjoy. What?
It's funny. You can't go Clambos. Jesus Louise.
Please enjoy this ad break.
Geese, do you always snuggle up with a blanket during recording? Oh, she's shaking her head, yes. Geese, so much has happened during the break. It turns out I was correct. All that beeping and booping was the mail. And we got all this mail. Do you want to grab a microphone or no?
What's in the mail?
What's in the mail? First is this copy of W Magazine that the person who lived here... Yeah, let me just put the magazine in front of the mic.
Guyera is a huge W fan.
No, the person who used to live in this apartment, I guess, had a subscription to this. So they just started sending it. I don't know who auto-renewed it. I don't know how we're still getting these magazines.
Is that Ceylon? Oh my god.
Okay, let's see what's in the package.
It's a double pack of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh my goodness gracious. I got it on eBay because Geese, I'm confused how this happens. I've Googled.com'd it, and some people say, well, you've got these distributors or what have you who buy giant lots of things and they come with tons of different merchandise and then they get a big steep discount on it. And then when they can't sell things fast enough, they'll just discount the prices a lot. What I'm getting at is I bought this on eBay for way too cheap. This is $120, but it before tax. But I was able to buy this for just $100, which is, I don't understand how it works. Oh, Geese, don't steal my code.
I won't.
Actually, I don't mind if you steal the code because those Pokeballs aren't going to do anything for me. Okay, so now I got copies of both games, which I'm going to need because... Am I catching the geese? No. Where's my decongestists? Okay, Clambos, look, listen, you know as well as I do that I could not wait to play Pokemon Violet. So, of course, what did I do? I bought a digital code for the Japanese version so I could play 24 hours early. Now then, do I like collecting the physical copies of all the Pokemon games? Of course I do. Why wouldn't I? And number two, Geese, is if I want to trade to myself with two Switches, so the new Scarlet Violet Switch and my original launch model Switch, I need 3 darn copies of the game to do it, which I now have because I have Clambos, get out your paper and pencil because you're gonna have to make a graph and a chart with this because I spent so many minutes. Let's say hours, but that's an exaggeration. I spent so many minutes trying to figure out if it mattered what game I chose to start a file on my secondary Switch. I even asked Idle Songs because he's a statistician. He should know this. Eventually I figured out, oh, I'm so dumb. I have to make my second file, not my main file, but my secondary intermediary file. This must be incredibly interesting to listen to, especially with just
I'm
me
intrigued.
talking. Okay, so this copy of Pokemon Violet, this copy of Pokemon Scarlet. This Scarlet, I'm going to play on my main Switch and have an actual playthrough, right? But if I ever, because it's so much more difficult now, in the past, all your save data was stored on the cartridge. So you could easily just have 2 Game Boys, 2 DSs, and just put both games and trade between them. But now because the save data is stored on the Switch internal memory, whether that's its SD card or its internal memory that's not SD card, you can't do that as easily. You can't have that save data move wherever you want it. So I have to have 2 canon main save datas and then a third intermediary Japanese. It doesn't have to be Japanese, but that's going to help with like foreign name, Masuda method breeding, whatever. So I'm making a Japanese file on my second Switch just so I can trade between Scarlet and Violet. And I was asking people, my brain isn't working. Can you explain to me if there is a benefit or a detriment of choosing Violet over Scarlet as my intermediary non-canon playthrough? And we came to the conclusion that, well, just make it Violet so you don't have to switch cartridges around as much. But then after we came to that conclusion, I realized I'm so dumb, Clambos. It has to be Violet. Because if I made Scarlet, what the heck would transfer from Scarlet?
Where'd you get those pants? I want them.
You can have these ones. They're the Mega 64 tracksuit. It's very, very sick. And they sent me one that was the wrong size. And so they sent me the correct size and said I could just keep these ones. So very convenient. But yeah, very exciting. Got the video games. Everybody celebrate. Got them cheap. And I can finally I said fart. I can finally start my playthrough of Pokemon Scarlet. And it's going to be a wonderful time. Geese, before we start the episode, do you have any Arbor Day questions you would like to ask at this point in time?
No, but can I tell you about that I got TSA pre-check?
Did you get, because there's 2 different little guys. There's pre-check and there's clear, I think.
3? Oh, clear. No, I just got pre-check. So I signed up for an appointment Saturday for Monday at the local Staples. I asked the printer person, like, hey, where can I do the TSA? Like, is this the right place? They're like, no, follow the ink wall. So I go to one of the walls of the store, filled with ink cartridges, and I follow the ink wall back to the back of the Staples where the warehouse is, and there's just this opaque box. It's a box. It's like 6x6, and it just says like TSA pre-check here. Please knock on the door. So I knock on the door, and I get in this box, and this man is like, "Can I have your phone number?" And so anyway, I go through the process. I give them my fingerprints, which I'm not loving.
What, Geese? Do you have some cold cases out there that are going to trace back to you?
I don't know. I'm just not a fan of like that's literally why I haven't done it previously. But I do it and I go home. 10 minutes later, you have been approved. I'm
Hey,
like, okay.
You did it.
So anyway, long story short, I have TSA pre-check. I feel like it's worth it because I travel a lot. I'm always traveling.
Yeah, I don't travel enough. How much did it cost you?
$78 for 5 years.
That's not as bad as I thought. For 5 years, huh? Wow. Wait, per year or for whole 5 years?
For 5 years.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I've heard stories about people having one and not the other, and it ends up being like weird and difficult for them to not have clear and pre-check. But
Really? Because it's like, from my understanding of seeing it, if you have clear, you just go to the pre-check line.
I don't know.
You go through the clear line, but they just put you eventually in the pre-check line.
Interesting. It was the kind of funny guys talking about it, but I travel. It depends on the year, I guess. Maybe I used to travel more. Now I travel a few times a year. Maybe I time my flights in a way that makes it where there's not that many people at the airport, but it seems like I never have to wait long at all. Maybe it's different for the airports you're going to.
I travel once a month.
I sure hope you're racking up free miles.
Don't get me started, Guyera. Guyera, I am getting miles, of course. It just, I would get more miles if I had the Southwest card, but that costs money.
I hate Southwest.
No, I like Southwest. But yeah, I travel like once a month, seeing Aaron and coming back home, and also going to Florida now that like my parents bought a condo there. So, long story short, it's worth it. And I hope I'm not going to need to commit a crime anytime soon. But Idle Songs did make a very good point when I was talking about my hesitation to getting it, is that I could always burn my fingerprints, but they're going to get me anyway on facial recognition software, so.
God, Geese is done for. Well, you could try to travel to another country and then hope they don't. What's the word, Geese? Not What's the word that means when you are in a country and then that country ships you off to the country you're wanted in? Like you go to a country for asylum. What's the word that means they ship you back?
Extradite? Is it
extradite? Yeah,
extradite. Extradite.
Clambos, please write into looklistencast@gmail.com and tell us, is extradite correct? Or are we goofing it? All right, Geese. How's about you tell us the title of this week's episode for Arbor Day special?
This week's episode in English is Trees a Crowd. And in Japanese, Guyera,
it's the Forest of Kimori. Protect the gigantic tree. Why do I not have the Romanji here? But it's like Kokomomori, Momori, Momori. This episode takes place during Generation 3, the advanced generation of the anime, where we are in the region of Hoenn, which is, of course, Geese, based off of the southwest of Japan, where you got all those islands, you got your Okinawas, you got all that area. This is episode number 7 of that anime, Geese. And like I mentioned before, if you didn't gather, I picked this episode because we needed another holiday, so we're doing Arbor Day. This episode's about a tree. There you go. Please enjoy, Clambos. Geese, in the intro to this season of Pokemon, in English, did they... I'm feeling like this is not the highest quality the anime has ever been, especially in Japanese, because the music is bad in Japanese. And the theme song is so dumb. The opening theme song is just listing things they introduced in that region. In Japanese, they're just, you need to tell me, in English, are they constantly talking about double battles and the new Mach bike?
No. In English, it's just like a generic, along the same themes of like the other Pokemon shows, it's like, gonna do the best and we're friends and battling. But it's like a weird, I don't even know what to call it, like a Linkin Park-esque is the right term.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just,
we're going hard in the early 2000s.
It's very mid-2000s. Yeah.
Big, yeah, I listened to a little bit of the English outro because I was seeing if I knew they didn't, but in the end of this Japanese episode, we had a little segment with Professor Oak going on about a Pokemon, and he did a haiku, and it was incredibly, incredibly Japanese, and I knew there was no possible way. I didn't record it and send it because it had nothing to do with the episode at all, so it's not like a stinger. It's just a bonus. Here's what Ampharos is like, and here's a haiku about Ampharos, which isn't even a Generation 3 Pokemon. No big deal. Okay. But like I said, the intro to this in Japanese, they are just listing features of the video game and the theme song. And the Pokenavi. The episode opens with... Geese, I'm guessing you're not familiar with these characters at all, May and Max.
I'm not.
May is the main character of Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. She's the protagonist playable character. And yes, she does ride a bike in those games. And there are two different types of bikes.
Based on her outfit, she's wearing like bike shorts and like a bike shirt and bike gloves.
Yeah, they had a big focus in those games on the bike because they introduced two different bikes, one that goes super fast, and that's the Mach bike, or is it Acro bike? I think it's Mach and Acro bike. And the other bike is slower, but you can maybe do little hops on it. You do little hops across platforms. So that was really integrated into the design of the protagonists. I don't remember May's little brother being a big thing in the games, but it's been a while, so I could be mistaken.
Oh, that's her brother.
They don't make that clear in English?
No.
In Japanese,
that makes sense.
In Japanese, you can't even avoid it because clambos, if you are unaware, there is no word for brother or sister in Japan. There are only words for older brother, younger brother, and older sister, younger sister. So when a brother and sister speak to each other, they use that word. You know, oni-chan, whatever. So it's immediately clear in Japanese just based on how you address someone, their relationship. Anyway, Max is furious because his sister May got them lost in the forest. Ash tries to calm down the situation. He says, listen, I get lost all the time in forests and it always turns out great. Brock tries to break up the fight and it's really annoying in Japanese. I don't know how it came across in English, but they're just pumping in this bad music too. Ooh,
yeah.
It was a rough opening. I went, oh God, this feels way more like an annoying kid show than the earlier seasons, which were just fun and entertaining.
I like Brock's vest.
Yeah, he's got a new Hoenn vest for the climate, I guess. May tries to defend herself to her little brother and says, I wanted to take a more interesting route. There's cute flowers over here.
She doesn't say that in English.
What does she say in English?
I don't even know, but I don't think there's any mentioning of flowers.
Because they're going to the first gym. Ash has yet to win a gym badge at this point in the season. The main character, or the main Pokemon of this episode is, of course, Trico, which is the grass-type starter of Hoenn. In Japanese, they're on their way to Kanazumi. Kanazuni? I can't tell if that's an M or an N. Kana something city.
Kalamazoo.
There you go. There's a bunch of Tricos running around the trees. And in Japanese, Geese, the new Pokedex voice is very appealing. It's a nice sounding woman. How does the Pokedex in English sound? Same guy? Or is it a woman?
It sounds like a woman. It's much less robotic, I'd say.
Yeah, this isn't robotic at all. Ash sees the Trico up in the tree, Geese, and immediately throws a Pokeball, and Trico hits the Pokeball back with his tail. May then scolds him for not trying to battle the Trico first. Apparently, in an earlier episode this season, Ash was telling her she needs to battle a Pokemon before you can catch it.
Yeah, I like this. It's funny because after she says this, she says in English, Pokemon Master, huh?
Got him. This is jumping ahead a little bit, Geese, but the end of this episode, I'm thinking of it now because of the Pokeball. It's interesting watching Sun and Moon, how they kind of change how Ash gets Pokemon, and I like it more. I mean, it goes against the idea of Pokemon, but in Sun and Moon, there's just way more consent with the Pokemon he catches. He's like, hey, do you want to be partners? Before he actually just throws a Pokeball. Whereas these are the early days of he doesn't give two poops whether a Pokemon wants to be on his team or not. He's just throwing balls left and right. pretty good. So the Trico runs away after the Pokeball throw. Ash immediately chases after it. The other kids try to keep up, but Ash is running too fast. Ash eventually trips and falls over this kind of cliffside face. What would you call it? It's not like a valley. It's like a crater that there's a big tree. A slope you
crater,
trip.
sure.
Sure, why not?
When I saw this big tree, I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to see Totoro.
Ash falls is what I'm trying to get. It's not a 90-degree angle, so he doesn't die, but he tumbles down the slope. What is it, 45 degrees?
What if he did die? What a way to go.
Yeah, what a way to go. This is episode 7 of Ruby Sapphire. What degree is it, Geese? 45-degree angle? Sure. And then we see Trico that he tried to catch earlier. Trico, Geese, I'm going to be honest. Trico's looking pretty sick with his little twig he's got in his mouth.
Cowboy Bebop Trico.
Oh, yeah. He's a sick Trico. But yeah, he uses his little toothpick twig and uses it like a dart. He attacks Ash and Pikachu with it.
I found the inconsistency in the episode in the larger canon. Trico is like really fast and is faster than Pikachu, but I thought Pikachu's the fastest Pokemon.
Pikachu's not the fastest, but electric types are typically very fast. This Trico could just have a higher speed stat than Pikachu, but
yeah, I guess that's true.
As a rule, electric Pokemon are pretty quick. So Trico hits Pikachu, then taunts him with his tail. This Trico's very good at taunting Pokemon. That's going to come up on more than one occasion. So he taunts Pikachu, hits him with his tail again, and then Pikachu and Trico just argue for a while, and we don't know what they're saying until Geese, who appears.
So Team Rocket is watching from the...
I was about to say, how many episodes do you think we've done where I say, and then Geese, who appears?
All of them, probably.
All of them. 100% hit rate. Go on, Geese.
We see Team Rocket. They're on the cliff where the crater is, looking down at the Pikachu and the Trico, and they see the Trico kind of outrun and smack Pikachu, and they're like, why are we even getting Pikachu? We can just get this Trico. And then we see from their angle the Trico and the Pikachu talking, and Meowth translates. And at this point, does the other Tricos come?
Before the other Trico, we get Team Rocket talking about Juddy Boy, Ash, and we get a fantasy of Team Rocket delivering the Trico to Giovanni, and the Trico giving Giovanni a massage, and they're just super excited about the prospect of getting promotions because they're going to give Trico to Giovanni.
And James says that he would be excited to use his leadership skills if he got a promotion.
That's funny. They didn't say that in Japanese, but that's pretty funny. The fantasy of the massage is interrupted by, as Geese said, all of the Trico showing up. So this elderly Trico,
the old sage,
walks up to sick Trico, Ash's Trico, talks to the cool one. It appears, Geese, is the sick Trico not getting along with the rest of the Tricos? Meowth translates the conversation happening back and forth because Team Rocket's very confused. I guess Ash never gets to know, unless, because I don't think Meowth relays this. The elder Trico tells the sick Trico, we need new names. He says,
call him the cool Trico.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to call him, like sick Trico. The one with the twig in his mouth.
It sounds like it's sick,
like
though.
He's ill? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Poor guy. So the tight Trico is told by elder Trico. It's so funny that he's so old and he never evolved.
Yeah.
Okay, because he's got the age lines under his little eyes. He says they need to move because this tree is old and withered. Kind of looks like a dead Great Deku tree, or Deku tree, depending on how you say it. And then the cool Trico says, it's not withered. I was born this tree. It protected me, and now I'll protect it. And then Geese, Meowth, and James, what do they start doing?
They start crying.
Because of how moving this story from Trico is. Jessie does not cry. Geese, I'm guessing she doesn't say this in English, but in Japanese she says, homes and lovers should always be recent acquisitions.
Yep. She says life is all about exchanging old things with new, especially when it comes to things like homes and boyfriends.
Oh,
And
all
at
right.
this point, I'm snapping, I'm hooting, and I'm hollering.
Oh my god. So then she hatches the plan that she's gonna catch a bunch of Tricos. Trico runs off. Pikachu yells after him. Then Pikachu hops up in the big dead tree, and he says that because Ash is about to try to run after Trico, but Pikachu says in perfect English, "No, let's just hang out here because we know the Trico lives here, so he's gonna come back later tonight." And Ash says, "Okay, yeah, that's a great idea." Then Geese, who do we cut to?
Oh, we cut back to Brock, May, and Max. They're at a fire, and
Campfire.
Brock is cooking something on the skillet, and they're like, "Where's Ash?" But Brock is just like, "Ah, he's fine."
Yeah, he said Brock says he's got Pikachu with him. We don't need to worry about it. Brock is making these weird cookies because they're making
Oh, the
dessert.
cookies?
They look like cookies to me. And half of them are actual Pokemon. You can clearly see there's a Chansey, but it has weird pointy ears, and you can see an Igglybuff. But then there's other little weird things. I think there's just a normal bird or a fish, and there's one that looks like Blacephalon from Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So that was interesting. This is decades before that, or years before that. The kids, May and Max, they compliment Brock's cooking, and Brock says we can go look for Ash after we finish dessert because he's not too worried about it. Then we cut back to Ash. We see a bunch of Murkrow fly by, and it's the sun is starting to set. The timeline of this episode must be so many hours. I don't know what time it was when the episode started, but we've got sunset now, and by the end of the episode, it's already daylight on the next day. So these poor people, these poor kids aren't getting any sleep. Good Lord. So this episode takes place over the course of at least 14 hours. I don't understand. Okay, so as it's sunset, Ash says, "Oh, we probably should let the other guys know I'm okay." And so he takes out his Pokeball and brings out Tailo, which is the Generation 3 bird. And he says, "Tailo, go tell Brock and everyone else, tell them to meet us here at this tree." And Tailo says, "All right," and flies away. But this is the slowest Tailo of all time because if you follow what happens in this episode, Brock and May and Max don't come for hours, for judging by the moon and the sun and the whatnot. Then Trico shows back up. He's got a leaf full of water, and he pours it on the roots of the tree to try to keep it alive. He covers it in a bunch of leaves, and then Geese, the animation budget dries up because we get just little screenshot montage of Trico bringing a bunch of water, bringing a bunch of leaves to try to keep the tree alive. And in Japanese, it sounds like Dragon Quest music. I don't suppose you recall what music they used in English, do you?
Generic.
Nice and generic. Eventually, Ash and Pikachu start to help out, and I don't... Geese, maybe you water more trees than I do, but it just looks like they're doing that cat thing of making biscuits. They're just kind of moving their hands.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's an attempt at composting to add nutrients to the tree, but like moving them around a lot's not going to achieve anything. So like I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, they just bring water, they bring dead leaves, and they move their hands around a lot, and that is supposed to save this tree. Spoilers, I don't know if it's going to help. Geese, it's my favorite part of the episode. Who shows up now?
So they get interrupted with their kneading by a big crash and some smoke off in the distance in the forest. And they run to investigate and they see Team Rocket with a giant bulldozer bulldozing some trees and collecting the tricos that fall out of them.
Clambos, have you ever seen the film Fern Gully? Because this is straight out of Fern Gully. They've got a giant Fern Gully machine to destroy the forest. They steal all of the trico out of the trees with their big giant net. Then they close it up. They pull out their big Meowth balloon as per usual. This time it's got fun Christmas lights though. And Ash tells Pikachu, "Thunderbolt the balloon." But Geese, of course, like every episode, what do they say?
"This balloon's electric proof."
So then Ash says, "All right, I'll go use Trico." "Oh no, I sent Trico off 14 hours ago and he's still
Said
not
the
back."
bird.
"He's like a bird."
No, the bird. You said Trico, but you meant
Oh, Tailo. Thank you.
yeah.
So then they steal Pikachu. So they use their net like every episode. Geese, it's I hope Scarlet and Violet isn't 100% nothing but Team Rocket with devices stealing Pikachu in a net. I hope they try something new this time because we get a lot of that. We get a lot of that, Geese.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I say.
All right, Geese loves Pikachu getting caught in a net. Trico tight Trico tries to save the day by throwing his little stick at the balloon, but it's not strong enough. Doesn't break the balloon. At this point, James throws out his Pokemon, Cacnea, which is a cutie pie. He's a little cactus Pokemon. And I believe he tells Cacnea to use Pin Missile. Is that accurate, Geese?
I believe so.
At this point, Trico jumps into the hot air balloon and smacks Jessie in the face and makes her butt press a red button inside of the basket, which releases all the Trico. And then we cut Geese, we cut to Trico using his patented taunt attack to goad the Cacnea into using its very sharp cactus spikes at Trico while he's on the hot air balloon, Geese. And what happens?
It explodes and they blast off.
And there's big fireworks this time, I guess, from all the Christmas lights, I guess.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? We cut back to all the Trico being safe, and they're at the tree, the big tree, and they're touching their tails. And then, Geese, what happens?
The tree splits in half.
Oh my God.
The next sequence is very confusing.
Yeah, all the little Trico are trying to hold it up. There's no way they're that strong. Ash tries to get some rope out of his backpack. I didn't even know he had a backpack, but he's trying to get some rope. And then the sun comes out. And, okay. Again, we get to a point where I know it must be so different in English. But in Japanese, we get a Dragon Ball power-up montage of a seed turning into a tree while a Japanese ballad plays.
We get that visually, but I think the music is just like generic choral music, I want to say.
So they don't pop the lyrics on screen?
No, there's no lyrics. No lyrics at all. I'm confused because, like, at first I was like, is this magical? Is this happening in real time? But no, it's not happening in real time. It's just a vision this tree gave the Trico and Ash.
Yeah, in the montage music video with lyrics in Japanese, it shows a bunch of seeds falling from the tree, making a bunch of new trees, and then Ash says, "Trico, this is the tree's way of saying thank you for everything." And of course, Trico responds to that by smacking Ash in the face. And Ash takes that smack as the face as, "Oh, Trico, does that mean you want to battle now?" And now, Geese, at this point, the sun is completely up. So clearly, from that scene at the sunset to the sun being up, God, they must be starving and so sleep deprived. So let's get into a battle, Geese. Pikachu, use Thunderbolt. Oh my God, it's not very effective. Wait, when did the kids show up? Has Brock and Max shown up?
They show up, they run in right as they start to battle.
Okay, so battle starts. Now we got Brock, May, and Max going on about, oh my goodness gracious, that thunder attack, that Thunderbolt's not very effective against Trico because he's a grass type. So Ash says, well, use Quick Attack then. And then eventually Thunder. And then they discuss, well, yeah, it's not that effective, but Thunder's still a very strong move, so I can see that working. And then it appears that Trico's knocked out, but you can't catch a Pokemon if it's knocked out, at least in the video games. But Ash throws the Pokeball. Didn't ask him, just threw the Pokeball, and it took a really long time to catch, like 15 shakes or something. But then he catches the Trico, brings him out, and he must have not been knocked out because Trico's back on his feet again. Well, anyway, after Trico pops back out of the Pokeball, the old Trico walks up to him and gives him the seed from the tree. Trico plants it, and they all say goodbye. And actually, at some point in Japanese, Ash, I do believe, asks Trico, hey, do you want to come journey with me? And Trico says yes. Correct, Geese? That checks out?
Yeah.
Okay. So he still asked him after he caught him, so if he said no, I don't know what would have happened. He could have let him go. So the plant starts to grow into a new tree, and then that is the end of the episode. Goodbye to all the rest of the Tricos. Let's go have a wonderful adventure. Happy Arbor Day. Happy Arbor Day, everyone. And then the outro and the Japanese haiku, which Geese did not get. I'm sorry, Clambo. So yeah, if I had to rank the seasons we've watched, this is probably on the bottom because we know we like Sun and Moon a lot. I've enjoyed, especially in Japanese, the original series a lot. Did you think the Generation 6 Kalos Valentine's episode, did you like that? What word should I use? Season, I guess. Did you think that season was better than this Generation 3 season?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's an oh, yeah. So unfortunately, Clambos, Generation 3, bottom of the list for what we've watched. Anything to add, Geese?
It felt a little bit lower budget. Also, in English, the voice acting for Ash felt a bit off.
Probably already changed voice actors. Probably dropped the budget a lot. I mean, this point in Pokemon's history is probably the lowest point because this is the decline when it went from being an absolute global phenomenon to this is the point where kids would be made fun of for still liking Pokemon or playing Pokemon before it boosted back up in popularity a couple different times, depending on what was going on in the world and what games were being released. So it was a tough time to be a Pokemon fan. And it shows in the quality of the anime. But we have to celebrate the trees, which of course, Geese brings us to Arbor Day questions. Geese, what questions do you have for Arbor Day?
My first question is, what's your favorite tree? This can be species or like specific trees.
Oh, just like this tree I know about? This one guy?
Yeah.
I thought palm trees were pretty neat almost 10 years ago, but now I see them all the time, so they've kind of lost their luster. Amazingly, for living in California this long, I've never really explored the redwoods, which I really want to see because everything I've always heard is that they're the most amazing things you can ever look at because they're just so much taller than your imagination could even possibly comprehend. So I don't think it's fair saying that's my favorite tree because I haven't even really seen them. But the pictures I've seen, it's looking pretty good. The redwood trees. There was a tree I used to really like in the backyard of my grandparents' house back in the 90s. It was a sick tree. Used to always walk around that one and play with it. There was a tree in Space Center Houston that was fun. At Rocket Park, you could climb that tree and have lots of fun. Oh my God, Geese, did I ever tell you? There was a point when Dr. Pepper had this special giveaway, like you'd send in the little wrappers around the bottle and you could redeem them for all sorts of Dr. Pepper goods, Dr. Pepper lunchboxes and Dr. Pepper t-shirts.
I don't know Dr. Pepper, but I remember my sister sent in a bunch of like Pop-Tart things and she got a Pop-Tart shirt.
That's so sick. But anyway, Geese, this tree at Rocket Park is, of course, where they have a Saturn V rocket you can look at, and it's very sick. But Geese, there was a vending machine outside of this rocket, and it's the only vending machine I've ever seen in my entire life that was 100% Dr. Pepper. That's the only beverage in that machine. So you got Dr. Pepper, Diet Dr. Pepper, just 7 to 10 rows of it. Geese, do you know what this means? This means that the trash can by that vending machine was full of so many hundreds of Dr. Pepper bottles that nobody took off the wrapper and nobody sent in for so many free Dr. Pepper things. Geese, I was living like a king. So many Dr. Pepper thermoses and Dr. Pepper tumblers and Dr. Pepper merchandise. What a time to be alive, Geese.
I respect the hustle.
Oh, so good. So good. Geese, what is your favorite tree, species, or specific tree?
Why, thank you for asking, Guyera.
Well, you're welcome, Geese.
No, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I actually worked at a arboretum. What?
This time I'm laughing because you went like this. I don't know if I've mentioned it before.
Don't make me start coughing.
Geese worked at an arboretum. Arboretum.
Anyway, I worked at my college as a arboretum intern. One summer, I, with my good friend Lily, cataloged and measured all 2,000 plus trees on campus.
That's too many, Geese.
It was too many. And gotta say, my specific favorite tree was tree number 10 on the walking tour.
That's
And
so
it was
quick.
this giant white oak that was 6 feet in diameter, and it was planted in the 1700s. So old. Unfortunately, I think they cut it down to make way for some kind of cooling system, but it's my favorite tree, and I have a picture of me like hugging it and not even being able to completely wrap my arms around it because it was so big.
Yeah, 6 feet would probably be difficult to wrap your arms around.
I think maybe it was thicker than 6 feet. But in terms of species, hard to say.
White Oak, I believe, is a street in Houston, if I'm not mistaken. So it must be a pretty popular tree.
Yeah, there's a lot of them here.
Next question, Geese.
So, this episode, well, at least the big tree in it, reminded me of Studio Ghibli, specifically My Neighbor Totoro. And I was curious, what's your favorite Studio Ghibli movie?
I have an attachment to Ponyo.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Ponyo likes ham.
She's a little girl. She's a little girl. Ponyo, Ponyo, Ponyo. She's a little fish. She's a little fish in the deep blue sea. She's a little girl with a round tummy. Okay. Now, Hayao Miyazaki, what did he tell everyone? He said you should only ever watch his movies twice, once as a child and once as an adult. Now, unfortunately, I'm sorry, Miyazaki-san, all of your films I saw as an adult, so you goofed me. I'm sorry. I never saw any of them as a kid. I know people love Spirited Away. I've seen that a couple times in theaters, actually. So I'm sure I've seen that in English and Japanese. I have seen Totoro. Porco Rosso, that the name of it, Geese? She was shaking her head, yes. That was a good one. I've seen Howl's Moving Castle. We're going to go with Ponyo. I thought that was the most cute and wholesome. Probably a later pick than most people, because I think most people go for Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, or Totoro. I think. Geese, what is your favorite Ghibli film? Or maybe there's a Ghibli short you enjoy? Or maybe you really like Ni no Kuni, which is Ghibli art.
I think the most rewatchable for me is Howl's Moving Castle.
Sick designs.
But yeah, I really like a lot of them. I will say that I really struggle with watching Princess Mononoke the full way through. It's very long. Visceral at times, I'd say.
You just reminded me. It was one of his early ones, and it was super weird when it was first released in English. It had like a way different name, and it was edited way differently. Which one am I thinking about?
Castle in the Sky?
No, it was before Castle in the Sky. I think it's the one where you've got these giant insects. There's a big war.
Oh, that's like one of the first ones. It's Valley.
Oh,
Nazca Valley.
Yeah, Nazca in the Valley of the Wind. Right. That was an interesting one. I enjoyed that one. It was pretty
I haven't watched that one.
You should. At this point, I'm so morbidly curious to see the original dub of that. Maybe it's not even that the dub was that wildly inaccurate, but certainly the advertising was 100%. Like the protagonist of Nazca is a woman, Nazca, if I'm not mistaken. And in the English marketing for this film, which they completely changed everything, I think they tried to market it as the protagonist was some male warrior or something. And this release of this film actually turned off Hayao Miyazaki from doing almost anything in the United States because of how poorly this movie was handled, because they massacred his boy. Geese, don't give me the eyebrows like you don't know the reference I'm referring to.
I don't.
Oh my God.
Wait, I have great news.
Your analog pocket has come in?
No, I just found the picture of me with my favorite tree.
Sick. Tree pics coming in. Make sure to send them and I'll post it with the other pictures.
I was wrong. It's tree number 26 on the tour.
Geese, come on. Get it together. Please link. What face are you doing? It's like a me face. How funny would that be if I clicked the tree picture and it just closed out the entire recording? Be the best. All right, Geese. What is your next question?
What's your favorite woodland animal?
Wait, maybe a little cute little bunny rabbit. That's what I'll pick. Bunny rabbit. What's your favorite woodland creature, Geese?
I think probably like deer, just because where I'm from, there are a lot of deer. Every single day, I can reliably count on seeing the same herd of deer come through in the morning and the night. And there used to be this pack of deer, and there's this one deer who had a very white face. So we called her Whiteface / Betty.
Why Betty?
Betty White.
Oh, gotcha.
She was just like such a source of joy and comfort, because when she was around, it was full on quarantine. So I was always at home and we would just see Betty every single day, and we would feed them carrots. We'd go out and like throw carrots. And Betty was old and she wasn't afraid of us, so she would just come right up and just eat a foot away from us. I miss Betty.
Is that only female deer you want to hang around? Do the male deer get aggressive ever?
They get aggressive during mating season.
Because like
boy, I've seen some
geese.
The one year
don't get her. She'll go off.
1 year during mating season, the deer decided that they're going to get busy in our backyard, and a pack of like 20 deer came, and there was like several like 6-point bucks just vying for the females. It was wild.
I don't even know what 6-point means.
6 points on their antlers.
Oh. Do you just get more and more points the bigger you grow as a deer?
Basically, antler size, I think, is pretty indicative of well-fed and healthy a deer is.
You're going to say how wealthy a deer is. That deer is loaded. And sorry, this has nothing to do with Arbor Day or deer, but it is something I just thought of and I did not want to forget. Clambos. I am very excited for the Game Awards, which happens as of time of this recording in less than 48 hours. Clambos, here's the thing. A lot of years, people are not that excited for the Game Awards. They find them disappointing and dumb and silly. I've got a feeling, and by the time this goes up, we'll know if I'm right or I'm wrong. I've got a feeling, Clambos, this year's going to be wild. I'm thinking there's going to be big, big reveals based on the excitement I'm seeing from people and the number of people who are going to the Game Awards this year. In the past, they're always trying to get me to go by just emailing me free tickets or giving me little emails with links that are like, please just buy this super, super cheap ticket because we value you so much. And this year, Geese, that did not happen. So I'm going to have to try real hard to get these tickets. I actually don't know how I'm going to get them, but I'll figure out a way. It should be fun. I know Dan Reichert's going, so I'll probably see him, say hello. I know Hideo Kojima's going to be there.
Hi.
I'll tell him Geese says hi.
And by him, I mean Hideo Kojima.
Of course. Tell Hideo Kojima. Kojima-san, konbanwa. Geese peep says konnichiwa.
We go way back.
Yeah, we go way back. So I think there's going to be big, big, big giant announcements. And Jeff Keighley said that this is going to be a shorter show this year because it's just going to be nonstop fun announcements and awards and not a bunch of fluff. So I'm thinking it may be really good and I'm excited. 48 hours from now. And Clambos, if it turns out to be disappointing, I'll be embarrassed for my words and deeds for being excited for no reason. Geese, would you like to ask another question? Arbor Day question.
My final Arbor Day question is, what should I ask for Christmas?
A very good Arbor Day question, Geese. You should ask for all the riches and gold in the world. Geese is slowly nodding her head. Her left eyebrow is slightly raised.
Can I tell you what's on my list so far?
Let's hear what's on Geese's list.
Money.
Hey.
So there you go.
Ding, ding, ding. Got him.
A knife.
I got him. One knife. Geese, don't do what Taylor did. Don't put the knife in your bag and then
I know. I was worried about that because I was like, I want a survival wilderness kit that comes with a knife. I just have to remember not to put that in my carry-on.
You're going to goof yourself big time. Why don't you just
Every
get an
year I ask
axe?
for a knife and I never get it.
Oh,
I
okay.
asked for an axe one year and didn't get it.
Oh my god! Just ask for an axe that's a replica of a video game axe, like the Kratos axe, the Leviathan axe, or a Fortnite axe. You'll get it for sure.
Bike shorts.
Sure. For cosplaying as May.
And exactly. And a portable charger.
Geese, can you try to say portable one more time?
Portable.
Okay. How about, can you say, like your Cockney? Audible.
Portable.
There you go. Got it. We got it. Well, because you don't have a pop filter, everything is just...
Portable.
There you go.
Charger.
Please send all of these gifts to Geese at... Geese, what's your address? Your P.O. box?
Send the money to buy these gifts to onlygeese.cash.
Or you can go to looklistencast.com and click the anchor.fm link and support us there. Geese is slowly nodding her head again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Geese, is your eyebrow stuck? Okay, no.
What?
I think you fixed it. Because it looks like you're just doing this.
I think I am, but I'm not consciously doing this.
Poor Geese, her eyebrows, she can't put it down. Oh, well.
Maybe I'm having a stroke and half of my face is...
That's probably it. Thank you for all your Arbor Day questions, Geese. Let's head on down to the wrap.
Oh my god, you're right. Now I'm looking at my face and my other eyebrow is so high up. Why?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god, maybe I just didn't do my eyebrows correct.
You just made them super high?
I don't know, maybe.
Is that a thing you can do?
You can shape them, but it shouldn't... You shape them underneath. You don't shape them... I don't know what's going on. Am I having a stroke?
Geese is dying. All right, Geese, well, real quick, let's go through the wrap-up so we can get you to the hospital to fix your eyebrows. Doc, my eyebrow.
Thank you all for listening. If you would like to keep up with us on social media, you can find us at Look Listen Cast, all one word, on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
Geese, we got to start going so hard into that. Just every week try to make it longer.
YouTube.
Perfect.
Thank you, Keith Squared, for our podcast artwork. You can find Keith at twitch.tv/Keith Squared.
Thank you to all of our supporters at looklistencast.com, anchor.fm, monthly support of Look Listen Cast. Shouts out to Professor Ticklebits for the boilerplate, the ad edit, and the website. You can also support us at anchor.fm by going to looklistencast.com. Please recommend this podcast to your friends and your family here on NPR.
I'm Ira Glass.
I'm Jado Bumrad. Geese, would you like to scroll down, because on this doc it's on the next page, and please read our question this week.
Our question this week comes from RAWKPARTEE. RAWKPARTEE asks, "Hello, Geese and Guyera. It's RAWKPARTEE. Longtime listener here. Here's my question. What is your dream shiny to catch in Scarlet/Violet? Also, what's a dream shiny coloring you'd like to see?"
And Geese, you can scroll down. I've posted all of the shinies of the new Pokemon, so you can pick out your favorite there. So I actually got... Yes, Geese?
Who's this guy who's my best friend?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, I thought you were asking who RAWKPARTEE was. Who's this guy sending emails claiming to be a long-time listener?
He's round and he has great eyes and he's yellow and he has a big circle on his tummy.
That's Bellybolt. In the Reichert's Community Game of the Year, he's on the list for Best New Pokemon. He's a nominee.
He's my best friend, and that's my answer.
He's a cutie pie. So Geese's answer is, of course, Bellybolt, the electric-type Pokemon that is Iono's little lead Pokemon, the Twitch streamer gym leader who specializes in electric types. Here's the thing. I'm lucky because my favorite shiny out of the entire generation is Koraidon. And Koraidon is shiny locked. So you may think to yourself, oh, that's a terrible one to have as your favorite. no clambos, because if it's shiny locked, that means they're going to give it in a giveaway. So I'm 100% going to get it. So I can't wait to get the box legendary for Scarlet as a shiny, because he looks so sick in his shiny. He just like got this really cool black, white, red look. Regular Jack White over here. He's very sick. I've already caught a few shinies in Scarlet and Violet, such as the adorable little Fido, which I mentioned before, which I evolved so I could fight in the big Charizard raids. I actually prefer how he looks as a Fido, but just had to, what's the phrase, Geese, the kids use? Had to stunt on them. Had to show off for all the people in the raids, on all the online raids, as a shiny Dox bun.
So I didn't realize this, but the evolved Fido is a dachshund.
Yes.
That's amazing. He's also my best friend.
Also, I have that Pokemon. You can meet him anytime. Just play the video game, and you can join a picnic with me, Geese, and you can pet, and you can wash him. You can give him a bath, and eat sandwiches with my shiny Dachshund, Dox bun. He's a pretzel puppy. There's actually quite a few cool shinies I really want to get, because he's already on my team, but Rabska, that line of these little dung beetle / scarabs, they look really cool, shiny. I want those guys real bad. The Rev Room, is that his name? Rev Room? I think so. The little car engine Pokemon, he looks pretty good shiny. I did catch the Bramblegast shiny, so that's good. And then, of course, all of the Paradox Pokemon, I want all their shinies big time, as fast as possible. We actually got some kind of bad shinies in this generation too. Like the Tauros shinies are real bad. The Mousehold Tandemouse, you can't even tell the difference. It's terrible. Hey, Geese, there was a second part of that question, wasn't there? Let me scroll back up.
Yeah, what kind of shiny coloring would you want?
Oh,
and
that hasn't happened
my answer is I want anything pink.
We do have quite a few pink shinies. What shiny? Ooh, it's tough. It's tough. So, like I mentioned earlier, that Koraidon, like a red, white, and black palette is going to be really sick if they want to implement that more. Because even that Koraidon has some yellow in it too. But if you just kept it white stripes, red, white, and black, that would be sick. Probably some more cyan shinies, because I'm a big fan of cyan. And if you've got a Pokemon like Psyduck has a great shiny. He's normally yellow, and he's got a real cute blue shiny. I think that's cool. I think seeing just a really cyan or Robin's Egg blue or something like that for a Pokemon that doesn't have any tinge of blue at all, I think would be a really good shiny. And that is my answer to the question Rock Party is asked. Thank you very much, Rock Party, for your question. Geese, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. All right. Well, I'm going to try to record some more episodes next week. Geese, do you think you're going to be available for next week or no? Like next Monday?
Probably next Monday. I should be. Yes. I'll keep you posted.
You're keeping me posted. All right. Hopefully we can get Taylor back then. He's doing something, going through something, but we'll see. Clambos, thank you for eyebrows, Geese. Okay, goodbye, everybody. Have fun with your evening. Goodbye.
Howdy, y'all. It's me, Geese Pete. Thank you for listening to the Geese Pete Productions podcast.
Geese Peep Enterprises, doing business as Peep Industries, together with its subsidiaries, is a diversified worldwide entertainment company with operations in media networks, talent management, parks and resorts, multimedia entertainment, and consumer products and interactive media. Geese Peep Enterprises is a Dow 30 company.